Johnny, a fifth grader, is an implacable and exiguous child. He never listens to the teacher and is full of artifice. All the students laugh at his jokes and tricks. You could call him the epitome of the class humor. They saw him as valiant for being that brave enough to stand up to the teacher. His teacher, Mrs. Egner, demands that all the students pay homage to her. But Mrs. Egner hates her job because she often feels like her classroom is nothing but a big fiasco. But that's not completely true. The other students are learning a great deal and getting good grades. She is just letting Johnny get in her head. One day, Mrs. Egner had enough of Johnny always disrupting the class with his antics. So she gave him a proviso. She said that if he didn't behave, that he was going to get detention. She didn't really expect this to cajole him. She just wanted revenge. He was on his worst behavior that day. So he was in for an hour of detention after school. He was acting like a mendicant and begged that she nullify the detention slip. After school ended, Johnny entered the classroom for detention and saw Mrs. Egner. Her hair was all tousled from the stress she had been under to keep an orderly classroom. Her look of disapproval for him permeated the room. As much as she tried not to be, she was full of repugnance for him. All she could think about was this crucible she had been going through this whole year. caused by one infinitesimal 10-year-old. Johnny sat down in the front row and looked around the prosaic room. Where the other misbehaviors conjugated. Mrs. Egner told the students the rules of detention. Not talking, no moving from your desk, and you must ask to go to the bathroom. Basically, in detention, you are required to be indolent. Mrs. Egner then turned around to write on the board, and Johnny got it from his seat. And knocked one of her baubles on the floor. That was sitting on her desk. This was the last straw. She called his parents and sat down for an hour-and-a-half meeting with them and Johnny to discuss a plan of action. At the end of the meeting, Johnny saw how much pain he had caused his teacher. And was sorry for all the tricks he played on her. He finally apologized to his teacher, and Mrs. Egner was full of relief.